As enterprises become more digital, more automated, and more AI-driven, trust can't remain scattered across disconnected tools. EvidentIQ turns trust into infrastructure, verifiable, auditable, and built into every important interaction between people, systems, agents, and data. Enterprise infrastructure has evolved in layers. Networks connected systems, the internet opened access, cloud changed scale, identity secured users. Now AI is accelerating decisions and automation. But as digital work becomes more autonomous and distributed, organizations need a deeper foundation, verifiable trust in data, actions, and ecosystems. That is where digital trust becomes infrastructure, not just a feature. EvidentIQ belongs in that next layer. Enterprises are not short on digital systems. Humans, AI agents, APIs, documents, and workflows are all moving faster than ever. The gap appears when proof is required: who acted, what was authorized, and whether the record will stand up later. Digital activity has accelerated faster than digital trust. When trust breaks across systems, the impact is immediate. Fraud exposure rises. Audits slow down. Compliance remains expensive. And AI pilots stall because leaders cannot prove the data behind decisions. The core insight is simple: trust cannot live inside one more tool. If every application defines assurance, verification, governance, and compliance on its own, the enterprise gets fragmentation, not confidence. Trust has to become shared infrastructure, the way cloud, identity, and networks already are. Embedded as a common layer, every business system and AI workflow can inherit consistent evidence, controls, and accountability by default. Digital trust compounds when every interaction becomes useful evidence. As EvidentIQ verifies identities, applies policy, and captures proof, the organization gains stronger audit readiness and a clearer view of trust. That confidence reduces friction for the next wave of transformation. More transformation creates more interactions, and the cycle repeats. At scale, the system is not just enforcing trust. It is learning from operations and making trust easier to prove. EvidentIQ is the enterprise platform for digital trust. It brings verification, governance, security, and audit into one infrastructure layer across people, apps, AI agents, APIs, documents, devices, and workflows. The goal is straightforward: make every important digital action traceable, trustworthy, and provable. At the interaction level, EvidentIQ works like a repeatable trust pipeline. It proves who is involved, confirms authentication, checks authorization, and evaluates policy. Then the action is cryptographically protected, converted into evidence, and validated against compliance rules. From there, the record becomes immutable, auditable, and useful for trust intelligence. The result is not just a log. It is governed evidence that can support decisions, investigations, and assurance. Architecturally, EvidentIQ is an extensible trust layer between the systems where work happens and the infrastructure that runs it. Enterprise tools, AI agents, apps, and devices connect through familiar interfaces like APIs, SDKs, events, MCP, and GraphQL. Inside the core, identity, policy, evidence, audit, governance, analytics, and cryptography work together. This embeds trust into workflows instead of bolting it on afterwards. From a capability view, the platform operates as a trust lifecycle engine. It starts by establishing identity, then applies policy, captures signatures, manages evidence, and preserves an immutable audit trail. From there, it automates compliance, analyzes trust signals, scores risk, and provides cryptographic services. Blockchain integration and trust APIs make the model extensible, so organizations can connect these capabilities into existing workflows instead of treating them as separate tools. Why now? Because multiple forces are converging at once. AI agents making decisions, identities exploding, regulators tightening, attackers advancing, sovereignty rising, and post-quantum cryptography forcing modernization. Trust infrastructure is becoming urgent, not optional. Building EvidentIQ is not just an AI problem. It requires cryptography, identity, blockchain, enterprise integration, and compliance to work as one system. CryptoMines brings that rare combination: Hyperledger and digital identity experience, HSM and PKI depth, digital signature expertise, secure engineering, and enterprise architecture. That matters because digital trust infrastructure must be credible, technically, operationally, and legally, before enterprises will depend on it. Most enterprises already have pieces of trust infrastructure: identity, certificates, key management, compliance tools, AI controls, and sometimes blockchain records. The challenge is that each one produces assurance in its own silo. EvidentIQ connects those signals into a unified trust layer. That turns separate controls into cross-system evidence, so decisions can be verified across the enterprise, not just within one tool. The market entry is deliberately phased. We start with high-friction trust problems, where buyers already feel pain: AI decisions, enterprise documents, and approvals or signatures. Those focused use cases create adoption, data, and credibility. From there, the offering expands into a broader enterprise digital trust platform. The final step is the network effect: trusted interactions across companies, where each new participant increases the value for everyone. Commercially, the model starts where trust is easiest to earn: hands-on professional services and implementation support. Early projects create adoption, prove value, and generate customer insight. From there, the relationship can convert into annual enterprise licenses and subscription platform revenue. As usage expands, managed trust services, marketplace offerings, and industry-specific modules add higher margin growth. The result is a practical path from project revenue to durable, scalable recurring revenue. The strongest early customers are organizations where trust is already mission-critical. Large regulated enterprises, including banks, healthcare systems, governments, insurers, energy providers, manufacturers, and telecoms, have the clearest pain and budget. Mid-market SaaS, health tech, fintech, and AI companies can move faster, especially when trust becomes a sales requirement. Technology partners extend reach. System integrators, ISVs, and cloud providers can embed the capability into broader transformation programs and accelerate adoption across many accounts. The roadmap is deliberately sequenced. First, the platform establishes core trust primitives: identity, evidence capture, auditability, signatures, and Azure integration. Next, it adds governance depth with AI controls, policy enforcement, HSM support, and compliance automation. Then it expands trust outward through blockchain anchoring, verifiable credentials, and trust graphs. Finally, it prepares for post-quantum security, decentralized AI, and cross-enterprise trust, all built API first for hybrid, multi-cloud scale. For Microsoft-centered enterprises, EvidentIQ fits into the cloud stack they already trust. It can use Azure AI Foundry and Azure OpenAI for intelligence, Entra ID for identity, and Key Vault or managed HSM for protected secrets. From there, it connects governance, compute, automation, and Microsoft 365 workflows, turning existing Microsoft investments into a stronger trust layer for enterprise AI. The end state is not another security tool. It is a trust fabric woven through digital operations. Every user, agent, API, device, document, and workflow carries context about who it is, what it can do, and whether its actions can be proven. Critical interactions become independently verifiable. Records become auditable by design. Over time, trust stops being assumed and becomes continuously established, measured, and shared across the enterprise. EvidentIQ turns digital trust into enterprise infrastructure: identity verified, data integrity protected, compliance auditable, and trust decentralized. The next step is practical. Let's explore the right path together, whether that is a pilot, partnership discussion, investment conversation, or technical deep dive.